what else goes into the anatomy of a servant leader, whether it's the things they do or their characteristics and traits?
Well, there are four characteristics of a servant leader.
Right.
First is, and this might be the most important, is empathy. You know, a servant leader has to operate from the point of empathy. They have to understand their people. They have to empathize with them. They have to know what motivates them, what demotivates them, but there has to be a high level of empathy, and empathy can be learned. Um,
Mm,
so high empathy. The second most important factor is teamwork, and that's teamwork between management and the sales group, and it's teamwork among the salespeople.
yeah.
It's getting the salespeople to work together as a team, and that is probably one of the biggest challenges that a servant leader has, because you know, in many organizations, salespeople are lone wolves. You know,
Mm,
they're operating on their own. Sometimes they're operating against each other. You know, they're hiding their secrets of success. They're not encouraging each other. And you know, servant leader teamwork is just the opposite of that. You get people to open up to each other, to trust each other, and to share secrets, you know, to support, encourage, to help each other succeed.
mm,
That's the key phrase there in teamwork. And the idea being here that a rising tide raises all ships.
mm,
So when you get that teamwork going, people work together, it removes a tremendous amount of toxicity from your sales environment. So you have less toxicity, you have more people working together, you have less stress. You really have a sharing of best practices that
mm,
people, you know, provide each other with best practices. They receive criticism openly and they give it openly. So that whole teamwork concept is instrumental, and it's really challenging. And the third is integrity. You know, because you know, if a sales manager has honesty and openness, that's the very basis of trust, and trust is the most important cohesive factor
agreed. Yeah.
in sales management. And fourth is, now this is also somewhat of a challenge. It's humility, because you know, in sales is a lot of times a kind of a look at me, you know, activity. You know, it's kind of like watching guys in the, you know, when they score a touchdown in the end zone, they do all these look at me thing, you know, these tactics.
Mm,
But you know, humility is basically this: the servant leader and or the sales manager is humble enough to stand in the shadows, give the credit to the salespeople. He's got an ego that's big enough to serve, but also bold enough to achieve. So this whole humility thing is really a kind of a misunderstood concept, because it takes a huge ego to be humble. And it takes a big person to be able to say, hey, I made a mistake. You know, humility, a lot of humility is just authenticity. And that is a person is able to say, hey, you know, I'm weak in this particular area, but I know you're strong in it. So let's work together here and make it work, you know.
mm,
So humility is just having that ability to give credit to other people and to be selfless, where you're driving results without driving your personal ambitions. So those are the four.